G'day folks and welcome to Dave Shields Fitness. My name's Dave Shields and I'm here to talk all about coffee with you today. I have got my preferred method, my favourite method of making coffee. I have been experimenting quite a bit over the last sort of few months while there's not much else been going on with the world, and I've got my recipe for my Aeropress. Yeah, the humble Aeropress. That is my favourite method of making coffee. Now I do have a cafetiere and I do have a machine which is a Dolce Gusto, I think it's called, and I use that for a quick and dirty espresso about 6 o'clock in the morning. As soon as I get up, instant kind of hit of a shot of coffee before my morning walk. My French press or my cafetiere I use probably sort of majority of the time. I'll do another video on how to get the most out of your French press, but my Aeropress is my favourite method. I have to admit that it's quite a mindful way of making coffee that I use, and I'm going to share that with you today, and the recipe that I use to make the coffee, so you guys can get the most out of your Aeropress. Right, so the first thing that I do is I weigh out my beans. Yes, folks, I weigh the beans. So I am using Cannonball Coffee Company, super strong coffee. Shout out to these guys, fantastic coffee. They are making coffee that is not only strong but tastes good as well. It doesn't have that bitter taste that you get with a lot of over roasted kind of strong coffees, if you like. So super strong coffee. Check them out from the Cannonball Coffee Company. They are ex-forces guys, so they're doing a grand job. Strong coffee for strong people, or something like that is their motto. So I get beans because, like I say, I like to grind my beans up. So the first thing I do is I weigh my beans, and my preferred dosage is 17 grams. 17 grams. So I'll just get those in there. To be precise. One more bean or two. There we go. Right, so I've got my beans. Now I'm going to grind them up. Now I've got a rotary grinder, which is a Krupp's one. It's not ideal. It's not a burr grinder, which are the best. So I have to go on my own timings for this as to how fine I like it. Now I used to use a fine grind for the Aeropress, but Aeropress themselves say a medium to fine grind is optimum. So I'm going to do a medium to fine grind. So on my grinder, that equates to roughly about 12 seconds. Okay. It used to do 15 seconds. It would bring it out quite powdery. So I'm just going to pop that on for a second. What I do is I'll do 6 seconds, then stop it, give it a little tap, and then do another 6 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to time that on my watch. Okay, so I've got my sort of medium fine grind there. So the way I make my Aeropress coffee, people all do it differently. I kind of do it upside down, if you like. So I'll pop the plunger there and stick the top on like that. Now these are all the little extra bits that you get with the Aeropress. So I'll put in the little funnel next, and just pop in my grinds in there. Okay. Right, I'm just going to pop on my water. It's nearly boiled. Now, you don't want boiling water in there. It does kill a bit of the taste, makes it quite bitter. So I normally do about 15 seconds off boiling. And I think the optimum again is around about 85 to 90 degrees. I don't have a thermometer in here, So I'm just going to go with timings. So I'll turn it off. That's boiling now, and I'll just give it about sort of 15 or 20 seconds to go off the boil before I lift that up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 40 millilitres to steep the grinds in the bottom for 30 seconds. Okay, I've got my little stir here. That comes with the Aeropress. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on. That's probably going to be hot. Okay, so I'm going to turn the scales on again. It goes everywhere. That's that. There we go. Bit of water everywhere. I knew I shouldn't have used that that kettle. So what I'm going to do is give that a little stir. And give that about sort of 30 seconds. And then I'll go for my main pour. So I like to do 170 altogether, 170 millilitres for me 17 grams of coffee. Right, so another 5 seconds or so, and I'm going to go for my other pour. I'm just going to zero the scales again. Hopefully this won't go everywhere again, and I'll put in, there we go, 80. There we go. 120. So that is, obviously if you were doing this with an electric kettle, it's going to pour a little bit better than that monstrosity there. Okay, so I'm going to give that another stir. I'm going to leave that to brew for about 2 minutes. Put that in, stir, right, go. Right, so while that's brewing, I'm going to take that off there. Give that a bit of a wipe. Now the reason why you're weighing it out, making it so precise, is that it gives you consistency. So you can guarantee a decent cup of coffee all the time. So it's almost like, I go to coffee shops. Well, I don't go to coffee shops at all now because they're all shut. I've just heard on the news that they're going to start opening them again. Go to coffee shops not for the coffee, because I can get fantastic coffee at home, and I will go to coffee shops just for the you know, for the social aspect of it, really, to drink coffee out. So if I want a decent cup of coffee, I can make my own. Now this is a silver stainless steel filter. I think I've bought this extra. Actually, it doesn't actually come with the Aeropress. What you get with the Aeropress are these paper filters. So you can use one of these paper filters in the bottom. I use this little silver disc and a paper filter. Just pop one in. Now you can pre-wet them, but again, Aeropress say that's not particularly, you don't really need to do that. You don't really get a papery taste, I don't think, from it, but I'm going to do that this time anyway. And I've got 10 more seconds to go on that one. And that goes on the top like that. Okay, so we're ready for the actual pour, for the plunge. So that's going to go into this cup here. Now you have to be fairly careful when you're tipping it upside down that it doesn't go everywhere, but if you've got the seal on it correctly, you shouldn't really lose anything in there. Okay, so I'm going to just tip that over, just pop that in there. Okay, so when we're ready to plunge, what we can do is press it down. The recommendation is to do it over a minute. So basically I don't time this bit, but I just make sure I do it really slow, and you get all the goodness. You're actually forcing the water through the coffee under pressure, which is what a machine would do when you're making espresso. Now, when you start hearing the hiss, that's when you stop, because you've got most of the stuff out. Okay, just give that a little wipe. Finish with that bad boy now. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is pour that into my cup. Now, depending on how strong you want it, you can add more water, or you don't add any extra water. That will be quite strong now. So I'm going to add another, hopefully, he says, 50. There we go. I've added another 100 ml for that. Okay, and there we go. Now, because I've used kind of water that's off the boil a bit, and I've let the water stand there to top it up with, then it should be fairly okay to drink. Oh, and that is absolutely perfect. You know, it's a lovely, nice cup of coffee, nice and strong. Like I say, if I wanted it stronger, I wouldn't add as much water at the end, but I'll put the recipe of the amounts that I use, and then you can use that as a basis to make your own recipe up for making the coffee. Obviously, if you haven't got a grinder, that you can order some beans and they will grind it up, and you can tell them what machine you're using, whether you're using an Aeropress or a French press, cafetiere, and they will grind it accordingly to what machine you want to have it ground to. I just think you get extra freshness from grinding your own beans. If you do want to take your coffee seriously, then I do recommend buying these specific packs of roasted, specially roasted coffee, because the supermarket stuff is cheap and it's all right to knock up in your cafetiere and have a coffee if you drink a lot of coffee, but just for the odd lovely coffee, maybe I'll have maybe one a day, if that, of a really nice kind of coffee. And you do the maths on it, and it costs maybe £7 or something to do one of those. But if you work out how much you get, 250 grams in a pack, and if you work out you could use 17 grams per coffee, you work out how many coffees, and I think it works out at about 50p for a really nice cup of coffee. So even though it's quite a big outlay, you're thinking, you're spending £7 on a pack of coffee, as opposed to just £3 or £3.50 in the supermarket for a supermarket brand filter coffee. I get more enjoyment out of drinking this kind of coffee. Okay, excellent, guys. So that's it. That's my video for my recipe for the Aeropress. Okay, look out for some more features on French press. I was wondering what to call this feature, whether it's become a regular feature. I was going to call it Sunday morning coffee, but then you might not be watching it on a Sunday morning, so maybe that's not appropriate. The other thing I was going to call it was kettlebells and coffee and kettlebells. I don't know. I want to work this into my theme, my health and fitness theme, because do love coffee, and it also does give you a boost for your workout as well. So it's double bubble really. And I think if you're going to drink coffee, you might as well enjoy it anyway. Excellent, guys. So please subscribe. If you haven't, check out the website, daveshieldsfitness.com, and the Facebook page as well, at Dave Shields Fitness. I have a no gym, no problem Facebook group there that you can apply to join as well. Lots of fitness, health and fitness related stuff on there. Excellent. So thanks for watching. I'm going to enjoy my coffee now, and I shall see you again next time. Cheers.